Welcome back, everyone. Happy New Year. Matt Reeves and James Gunn revealed a bunch of details about the upcoming Batman Arkham series they're working on. We learned more about the Batman 2 and Batman Brave and the Bold, like a lot of Batman-related stuff just going around this year, including that Batman Penguin series that we'll actually be getting episodes for. There are a couple big surprises with how they're handling everything, where everything fits in the timeline, the different continuity, like which universe is this going to be in, the Batman universe or the DCU movies like Superman Legacy, Batman Brave and the Bold. So we'll break it all down, and all the DC movies and shows that are actually coming this year, that we're actually getting episodes for, that'll actually premiering. If you're brand new to the channel, of course I'll be doing videos for everything they wind up releasing. There is a lot of DC stuff coming this year, even though Superman Legacy isn't coming till next year, like the Batman 2 isn't coming till next year. 2024, 2025, really big years for DC for a couple reasons. But probably the biggest surprise is that late last year, James Gunn was answering all kinds of questions about all the upcoming DC movies like Superman Legacy, Batman Brave and the Bold, the Batman 2 with Robert Pattinson. He's been really good about that, like he's really chatty with fans. He confirmed that the Penguin HBO series is firmly set inside the Matt Reeves, Robert Pattinson Batman universe because it is Colin Farrell's version of the Penguin. In all those characters that we saw from the first Batman movie, some of the characters will come back during the Batman 2. But that's all still meant to be self-contained in that Batman universe, full Elseworlds, and they're rolling out like a brand new title to play in front of Elseworlds movies so that people that go see these things or like you watch the episodes on television, you'll know that they're Elseworlds. But the Batman Arkham series that Matt Reeves is working on will actually be connected to the DCU, which is what James Gunn is calling his connected Justice League universe of movies that's going to start with Creature Commandos later this year, then Superman Legacy in 2025, including Batman Brave and the Bold, not the Robert Pattinson Batman movies. This is a big surprise because everything that Matt Reeves had been saying about the Batman Arkham series right after that first Robert Pattinson Batman movie came out in theaters a couple years ago was that all the Arkham scenes during that movie, the depiction of Arkham just in general, would be followed up on in the Arkham series. So people just assume, oh, it's going to take place in the same universe as the Penguin HBO series, as the Robert Pattinson Batman movies. Part of the whole idea with this new Penguin HBO series is it's meant to bridge the gap between the first Batman movie and the Batman 2. Like there's a bit of a time gap. Originally, it sounded like after he was finished with the Batman 2 that came out in 2025, they'd do the Arkham series. It would serve the same basic function, bridging the gap between the Batman 2 and whatever Robert Pattinson's Batman 3 movie winds up being. Like Batman vs. the Court of Owls or something like that. And they just used that Arkham series to feature more of Robert Pattinson Batman's rogues gallery of villains that we saw in the first two Batman movies and some returning in the Batman 3. Basically the same vibe as the Penguin HBO series. And they just do multiple seasons of those shows based on how they perform, with the exception to the Colin Farrell Penguin series. I don't see him doing like 5 seasons of the Penguin just because he does so many movies, he's so booked up all the time. But the Arkham series, because it is a bit more general, like it's not tied to any one specific Batman character, they could do a bunch of seasons of that. I would expect the main antagonist of that series to at least start out being Hugo Strange, just because of the way the character works in and around Arkham Asylum with all the other inmates. Then they just bring in a revolving door of Batman's rogues gallery of villains that come through Arkham Asylum. There've been a couple versions of Hugo Strange. Most people remember the last live-action one being from the Gotham series. They spent a lot of time at Arkham Asylum.
Mr. Cobblepot, my name is Hugo Strange, Chief of Psychiatry here at Arkham Asylum. Please come in.
Matt Reeves implied that Barry Keoghan's Joker, Paul Dano's Riddler, would come back during that Arkham series, so everything seemed pretty cut and dry, the way it would all fit together, it would work in their timeline. Like it'd all be part of that Robert Pattinson Batman Elseworlds universe. But then, out of nowhere, James Gunn drops a bomb. The Batman Arkham series Matt Reeves was making would actually be connected to his DCU Justice League movies like Superman Legacy and Batman Brave and the Bold, not the Robert Pattinson Batman stuff. As you would expect, typical James Gunn fashion, he didn't really expand on his answer, like he just gave a very curt answer, like no, this is all meant to be connected to the DCU. So it means one of two things is happening. One, Matt Reeves is going to use totally different versions of all the Batman characters in the Arkham series that we'll see in Batman Brave and the Bold eventually, a couple more years down the road, or eventually they're just going to connect the Robert Pattinson Batman universe to the new Batman Brave and the Bold movie somehow. Like say it's the younger version of the Batman that we see in Batman Brave and the Bold, which seems less likely. Like he started out in that first Batman movie during Batman Year 2, the Batman 2 movie won't be that much later, the Batman 3 also would not be that much later, like the time jumps wouldn't be that great, so he'd still be in his 20s for all of his franchise. We know the Batman we're going to see in Batman Brave and the Bold is going to be a little bit older, like Ben Affleck Batman age, because he'll be old enough to have had Damian Wayne. We'll have the rest of the Batman family that will have come and gone, like Nightwing will already exist in this universe, so a bunch of time has gone by. And one of the big things that James Gunn said that he was trying to do with his new rebooted DC movies was to simplify things so that there weren't like 10 different versions of all the characters, like 10 different versions of Batman all flying around on screen at the same time. Normally, the simplest answer here is the correct one, like which answer leads to James Gunn and those people doing the least amount of work, the least amount of explainer videos that you have to watch in order to understand how everything is connected. And that means that the Arkham series is probably just going to have totally different versions of the characters and really is going to be a totally different thing separate from the Robert Pattinson Batman movies. And I do think that the Batman that we meet in Batman Brave and the Bold will be completely different from Robert Pattinson, and they'll just do their own thing in the Matt Reeves Batman universe. Probably get a trilogy eventually in success, assuming that everything goes well with the Batman 2. Then after that, the only live-action Batman will be in Batman Brave and the Bold, henceforth for like the next 10, 15 years in success as well, like assuming that everything goes well with James Gunn's new movies. Getting back to the place where there is only one live-action Batman. So it kind of looks like we're actually getting that Batman Arkham series, which is going to be canon to Batman Brave and the Bold, before we get Batman Brave and the Bold, and before we learn who that brand new version of Batman is going to be. Like I said, the Bat family is supposed to already exist when that movie is picking up. They might not all be in the movie, but think about it this way. Damian Wayne is so far down on the totem pole of Robins. Damian Wayne means we've already had Dick Grayson, who's since become Nightwing. Jason Todd has come and gone looking out for Red Hood in James Gunn's new movies because he would have already had time to become Red Hood. A lot of you out there have been asking for a live-action Red Hood for a long, long time. Tim Drake would have also come and gone, maybe even some of the female Batman sidekicks somewhere in there too. Like the Bat family is big. Damian Wayne is basically like the last major Robin to have debuted in the comics. There was an entire Batcave full of people before he came along. Not that they're all going to be in Batman Brave and the Bold, like maybe Nightwing, like maybe a little bit of the other Robins, but generally Damian Wayne meant to be like the second main lead next to Batman. The other thing about that too is it also means we get a new older version of the Joker, for instance, because Batman has aged up a little. It means all of his villains have aged up a little to match. So the Joker we see during that Batman Arkham series wouldn't be the Barry Keoghan Joker either. Let me know in the comments, now that we know the Arkham series is connected to Batman Brave and the Bold, the DCU movies, who do you want to play all these new versions of all the Batman villains? A lot of people were asking for Willem Dafoe Joker a long time ago when they first announced the Matt Reeves movies before we saw Barry Keoghan Joker. They could actually do Willem Dafoe Joker as like the older Joker during Batman Brave and the Bold, or whatever future Batman movies in that connected universe.
I have this other thing I want to show you.
But even though it's going to be a couple years before we actually find out more about Batman Brave and the Bold, the other major DC movies series coming this year actually start with that Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths movie. That is definitely meant to be Elseworlds. It's meant to be the beginning of the end of the Tomorrowverse line of animated DC movies. They're basically using that to reboot into James Gunn's DCU because all the new animated stuff will be canon to the live action stuff. That was his big thing, like making it all connected to each other. But next is The Joker 2 with Joaquin Phoenix, his Harley Quinn. That's firmly Elseworlds, obviously. Then we get the Batman Penguin series. That's releasing in the fall, probably around October. Then Creature Commandos at the very end of the year, which is technically the first confirmed canon DCU project that's part of James Gunn's new Justice League universe. The whole idea is the voiceover actors will come back as their characters in the live-action movies eventually. They're engineering the shows to work more like the Marvel Disney Plus series, where usually the movie actors come back to voice their characters in animation. 2025, though, Superman Legacy is meant to be the first live-action DCU project. Blue Beetle was a bit of a weird scenario, though, this past year, where James Gunn was like, all these characters can come back, but the movie was made before he was hired at DC. He didn't have any creative oversight over that or anything like that, only to prevent them from causing any future headaches with continuity. Like, there were some very well-documented edits that they made to the post-credit scenes in the movies that came out this year because it was the end of the DCEU, like Aquaman 2 was the very last DCEU movie, so they changed the post-credit scene, got rid of all the Batman stuff, they got rid of a lot of the Henry Cavill Superman stuff in The Flash, just to prevent them from setting up stuff that they would never be paying off because they were rebooting into the DCU. There's a bunch of big stuff coming up though, so if you have any questions about all the DC stuff that's coming in the next couple of years, just write in the comments below and I'll add them to my videos. But don't worry, those of you that have been asking for me to do more DC videos every week, we will start getting some weekly DC series again pretty soon. Henry Cavill has that big Warhammer series that he's working on. I just did a big video for that. Click here to learn what's going on with that. And click here for my X-Men 97 teaser trailer video and Easter eggs. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.